Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Tracked Before. This time, we're going back to Deep Space Nine. It's profit and loss. Yeah, you can guess. You saw it. You probably saw it, or if you didn't, you're not going to be surprised that this is a Ferengi episode. Profit and loss on It's All Been Tracked Before. Hey, you can profit, and you're not going to, and no loss. Is that even possible? Yeah, it is. Become a Patreon member. Go to patreon.com/IEBD. Support us, support the network. Get the special episodes, get the bonus episodes, all the special content. Get it early, get it often, and it don't cost much either. Patreon.com/IEBD. And this is Profit and Loss, Deep Space Nine, on This All Been Tracked Before.
Come on to another episode of It's All Been Tracked Before. Your Skeleton Crew is here.
This is Stephen.
This is Jimmy-Jerome. And we are here to talk about the Deep Space Nine episode, Profit and Loss. First impressions.
I ended up liking a lot. Quark, A Long Law, Tale of Love, a lot of Gurak, who was great. More development around the Cardassian situation. Surprising turns from Odo and Gurak in the episode. Gurak, am I saying his name right? Anyway, a lot of
Garrick.
Garrick. Yeah, I'm completely.
I was very confused at who Gurak was.
Gurak, yeah. Garrick, yeah. Garrick was great. And some surprising stuff from them. You know, it's. I wrote at one point of all the gin joints and all the galaxies she walks into mind. There's a little bit of Casablanca going on there and all that stuff.
Yeah,
which is fine. Casablanca's great. So yeah, I enjoyed this episode overall.
Similarly, agree. I mean, Quark. I really like Ferengi-centric episodes. I know this was only centered on Quark, not all the Ferengis, as we will get more in the future. But it was still really, really strong episode. And yeah, the Natima, the love interest, was, I mean, Bing Crosby's daughter. So that's fun.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her a little. That actress is Mary Crosby, who's best known for, sorry, I'm getting to this point way early, but Dallas. She did 28 episodes of the original Dallas, The Legend of Zorro in 2005, the Anthony Banderas movie, The Ice Pirates, and this role, which is sadly only a one episode role. I'm sorry to tell you that she never comes back, which is a shame because they really left it like she should come back.
She was the infamous person who shot JR. Spoiler alert. It was her.
I never watched the old Dallas. I didn't watch the new Dallas. So yeah, I liked this episode. I like Quark doing romance. I like her because he's not out of character. He's just different than what you expect of Ferengi. This is the type of stuff that adds layers of depth to the Ferengi people and to Quark specifically. And it's part of why I like Quark, despite some of the shady stuff he does. So yeah, I have glowing things to say.
Quark's still Quark, but he's also in love. And so, you know, he starts off doing shady business. You know, him and Odo talking about the cloaking device and all that stuff, but he ends up using it for good, or at least trying to. So
absolutely. So at the beginning, we get some stuff about Cardassians. We had to save the Cardassians, and that's when our Professor Natima Lang comes on the station along with her two students, Hogue, played by Michael Riley Burke, and Recklin, played by Heidi Swedberg. Michael Riley Burke is best known for Mars Attacks, the 2002 film Ted Bundy, where he played Ted Bundy, the movie The Collector from 2009, and one episode of Star Trek The Next Generation that we watched, The Set Part 2. He played Goval. I assume that's a Borg. So,
oh wow. Okay.
But he is still active. He has 2023 credits. So,
and this may be our most Seinfeld moment. Heidi Swedberg played Susan, George's fiance. Heidi Swedberg, who plays Recklin here, was Susan, George's fiance, George Costanza's ill-fated fiance from Seinfeld.
For 28 episodes.
It was weird. I knew right away that I immediately, I'm like, I know this person. And then it was so obvious. As soon as I Googled it very quickly, I'm like, yep, okay. And
she was also in Galaxy Quest as Brendan's mom.
She and Mary Crosby.
Brandon's mom.
Yes. That's right.
Which we are going to watch Galaxy Quest for the podcast. Yeah, she's also best known for, obviously Seinfeld, Galaxy Quest, Dragonfly, and Hot Shots, the original movie, 1991. The other performer, Michael Riley Burke, is going to do a 3-episode stint on Star Trek Enterprise. So we'll get him a little bit more in the final season of Enterprise. But anyway, the three of them come on board. And while they're coming aboard, we get a scene between Bashir and Garrick having their regular meal, but instead of the Replimat where they usually gather, they're in Quarks, which they make a comment of it being unusual. And I know it's not pointed out that Garrick knew they were coming. It really seems like he didn't know and just ran into them. And yet I can't help but think there are no coincidences with Garrick. And the fact that they, for once, were in Quarks instead of the Replimat can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Garrick said to Bashir that he puts the state above love and family, which is, it's very telling. We don't know a lot about Garrick yet, but that's very telling.
Yeah, and I feel like of all the, I mean, as much as this episode's about Quark, I feel like we take some huge steps with Garrick about his past, his present. You know, it's all they've danced around this whole spy thing, and this episode's we not only is he, I've liked him in the other episodes I've seen him, but in here he's such a key part. He's a very interesting guy, and so I mean, you said how interesting it's going to be, and Keith as well, and I'm enjoying him so far, and he does not disappoint in this episode.
Not so far. It'll be very interesting. I mean, like he's in a lot of episodes, so you're going to get a lot more development of him beyond just this. And I feel like, part of his thing is you don't want him to know too much where he stands. But I feel like this episode may have given more away than it intended to, or maybe they hadn't decided yet how much they wanted to hold close to their chest. But the whole thing about Garrick, Garrick basically being like, state above family. I love Cardassia. And that's my whole thing, is definitely a through line for him. That he may not agree with the Cardassian government. He may not agree with things they do, but what is best for Cardassia is always his focus, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think that makes, jumping ahead, but that makes the turn at the end more, it sells that. It makes it like, oh, that's what this is about.
Yeah. He's going to do what's best for his people because he really believes that they can and should rebuild. I don't think he feels bad about the occupation.
A good turn rather than just a Deus Ex Machina moment of, oh, thank God he didn't shoot.
But it's also complicated.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I don't think he thinks bad about the occupation. I think he's okay with what they did. I think he thinks his people, though, right now are struggling and he wants to see them rebuild to what they were. And so it's complicated to have a character that seems totally fine with the genocide and exploitation they committed, and yet you still like him and you want... He was a spy. He was part of the apparatus. I think that's already been pretty apparent. Even if I don't think they're ever going to be more explicit than they've already been about it. But, Garrick's a complicated character, and that's part of why I love him. So,
yeah.
So he does ask Julian Bashir. Julian's like, "Are you an outcast or a spy?" And he's like, "I can't be both," or whatever. I don't remember the exact way it went down, but it's like, you can't be both, can you? I think you can be both. I think you can. Yeah,
he says, assuming you're not a spy, then maybe you're an outcast, or maybe I'm an outcast spy. How could you be both? I never said I was either. Which, a very fun wordplay there. Still not sure what he means, which is good.
Yeah.
But, maybe he's an outcast spy. Feels like he is. But we don't know.
Well, he definitely is an outcast. But I think he could also be a spy. And because I think they reveal, that's part of, in my opinion, the weak point of this episode, even though I really like this episode, is they reveal, I think, pretty explicitly that Garrick was a spy who was kicked out of his people for whatever reason because he did something the government didn't like. And he not only loves his people, wants to get back, but he's looking for ways to redeem himself and get back. That this is an expulsion that he wants to erase. I think that's pretty clear here. I think it's also clear in some other episodes coming up. But I think as the series goes on, you just never know what he's going to do, which is part of why I love Garrick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Oda says something to Quark about a rumor And Quark's response is, only one, I started at least 12. I love so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Their interaction in this episode is just as strong as ever.
I love, there's just so many, I kept writing down good conversations. Oh, I just kept writing down that how many good conversations there were. I just thought it's such a, especially between our recurring regulars, and Natima and Corbin and those guys. Well, yeah.
Quark says when he sees Natima, it's the happiest day of his life. He runs out and greets her, and she's blowing him off, but he sticks with it, which to me isn't like, that could very easily be taken as Quark's just this desperate, pathetic character, but that's not the way it comes across. It really comes across as he loves her and he knows she's shoving him off for reasons that are not true to her feelings. And that, of course, is revealed that he's right, but
Yes,
they sure really go a long way before they reveal that he's right. Like, you're like, maybe she doesn't like him.
Well, and even to the point that even then, I was not sure that she was being truthful. I actually watched that part twice to be like, okay, no, she is really in love with him, or at least I believe she is. So
yeah, there was some murkiness there, but I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, she was in love with him. There was somebody that was a reporter before Odo was there. Oh, Professor. That's what I wrote. She was on the station before Odo, which I guess adds something to the timeline that Quark predates Odo on the station, which is something I don't think we knew. She likes Sumerian sunsets. That drink looked fun. I would like Sumerian sunsets as well. Give me one, please.
yes, it did. Yeah. As soon as they see Garrick, they're like, we got to go. And it's like,
Yes.
why did you guys try and blend in at least a little bit? But they freak out like, we got to go.
I mean, I think that backs up that Derek is actually a well-known spy among his people. I mean, it could just be them freaking out because he's a Cardassian, but I don't think so. I think this was, we know who that is, and I'm scared of that person.
Yep.
We find out that they were attacked by Cardassians, and they want to overthrow the military government of Cardassia. I talked a bit before about Bajoran politics plays a part in the series, but I don't think we've talked about Cardassian politics and the fact that Cardassian politics are even more central to the series for the next 6 seasons. While this is taking place around Bajor and not Cardassia, what goes on with Cardassia and the way that their race is on the downslide when they pull out of Bajor, and what it's kind of like Germany post World War II, only without the support of the Allies rebuilding it. It's very much like what do we do now that we have lost face and lost some of our reputation? And the rebuilding of Cardassia is a key part of the plot for the next 6 years. Of which way will Cardassia go? Will it be able to rebuild? Will it survive, or will it collapse? That's definitely something we're going to keep coming back to. Well, all the way. I mean, final season really doubles down on Cardassia's fate. So, like, this is a very much a through line. I loved the hell out of the conversation between Garrick and Quark and Garrick's shop.
Oh yeah. All the was that the one? Yeah, that one with all the fashion coded talk, which I feel like and throughout this episode, actually, Garrick uses fashion words to really talk about all this other stuff going on, which I thought was really good. So kudos to the writer, whoever that was. I did not look that up, but
so this episode had a few writers. The teleplay was by Gordon T. Dawson, who's best known for writing best known as a producer for Walker, Texas Ranger, the TV movie Purgatory, and the film The Getaway. Also worked in the costume department for The Wild Bunch. He does not have a ton of credits, honestly. As far as writing goes, he did write 2 episodes of DS9. And the second one coming next season, end of next season. It's called Shikar. You'll definitely know what that is when we get to it, because Shikar is a big character coming to the series. But yeah, but then the teleplay was written by Flip Obler and Sidney Marcus. Flip Cobbler. I love that name. His writing partner and wife is Cindy Marcus. So this was a husband-wife team that sold their first screenplay to Paramount in 1988. And they wrote plays and musicals, now working on Disney animated films. But they're best known for, he played Lou in The Mean One. It looks like a great movie. He's an actor as well. He's got 4 acting credits. Talking about Flip here. He wrote this episode of DS9, and he wrote The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. It does look like most of his writing credits are staged, so we're not going to see that. Like, he wrote Lady and the Tramp 2, Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, Pocahontas 2, Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. Not a good resume. And it looks like his wife has a very similar resume because they wrote a lot of that stuff together. So, yeah. Yeah, and that was the era where Disney sequels were just not even worth looking at.
Like straight to video, kind of.
They were straight to VHS, and yeah, they weren't good. So I don't know. It's a shame that that's what their credits are. But so we find out Quark. We know he was like shady during the occupation, but we found out that he sold food to the Bajorans, which Natima says was like a great thing. Like, she was happy that he sold food. Mm-hmm. My immediate reaction was, he sold it? Why didn't he give it to them? That's not very cool. Yeah. But I guess for a Ferengi, that was as cool as you're going to get, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
they only spent 1 month together, which surprised me based on the depth of the relationship they communicated.
Must have been, wartime. It's very intense. Must have been a very intense month.
I think you're right.
I like even in the middle of all this love talk, Quark throws shade on Rom. He says, she says, "What about the bar?" And he says, "I don't care about the bar. I'll turn it over to Rom. He'll run into the ground in a month, but it doesn't matter. I have to be with you." Love that. I just love him throwing shade.
I love they threw shade because, and he's not wrong. Rom is not a businessman, but I also love that he was willing to give up the bar for her. Again, like filling out Quark's story, and that just proves that he really did love her, or does love her. I think even the fact that he gives her up at the end proves he loves her. The Cardassian warship arrives. At first, I thought they just didn't want to pay the budget of another guest star to talk to Sisko on the screen.
Yeah, again,
but they did pay the budget for another guest star. So it wasn't that. It was they sent Garrett to talk to Sisko, which was big.
Oh, right.
And they do establish that at this point in Cardassia's history, there's no difference between the Empire and the military. They're one and the same. So Cardassia's military rules their people at this point. Quark offers the students the cloaking device for free if they leave the team, which isn't for free, because that is, like, he does get a value. It's just not a monetary value. But still. And then she shoots him. I know it's an accident. Then she kisses him. And I think her shooting him is when you really find out that he's right. Like, that's the reveal that she loves him.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because it was an accident. He stroked her neck ridges.
It's good.
And he stroked her neck ridges, and she reacted the same way he does when his ears get stroked. So are the Cardassians' neck ridges and the erogenous zone?
Yeah. Yeah, I like it was good to see 2 aliens, for lack of a better term, even though they're not aliens where they're from. Two non-Earth humanoids in a relationship and getting to see them express their love physically, which I'm sounding grosser than it was, but just them kissing and being in love and all that stuff, I thought was really cute and great. And is this the first, and now I will get gross, is this the first Cardassian cleavage we see?
Maybe.
I couldn't remember.
I'm not disappointed by it. I mean, yes, Klingons are hot, but Cardassians are a bit hot too, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Quark urges her to give up her fight, and she seems to sort of agree right before Odo bursts in to arrest her. That's a great scene because Odo actually seems sorry, and not just to Natima, who we understand why he'd be sorry to her. He actually seems apologetic towards Quark in the moment. I liked that.
Yeah. Yep. I thought that was a nice moment. Yeah.
The Bajorans are willing to trade 6 prisoners.
It hints to later, the end of the episode, but which is 2. Yeah.
So the Bajorans are willing to trade 6 prisoners for these 3. Kind of reminds me, unfortunately, of the situation with Israeli and the Palestinians at this point. The unequal trade of numbers, but obviously the Bajorans are the good guys. Like,
you can't help think about,
like, we're trying to, like, a lot of people are trying to put the Israelis are the good guys, even though, man, I'm not going to weigh in on just the big guy in that situation. I think there's plenty of blame for both sides, and I'm not going to It's not just not getting canceled. I can't. We can't weigh in.
I agree. I'm the same way.
It's bad. There's a lot of bad stuff happening. Let's please stop it. Please.
Yes, exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Stop the killing, stop the violence, and let's leave it there. Anyway, Eric's the one that informed Cardassia, and if he kills them, he's told he gets to go home. He actually suggested the exchange, whereas this other Cardassian that comes in, Gold Turan, was the one who was like, nope, we want to kill him, and that can be your deal, even though I think he was just manipulating Garrick anyway. I don't think he was actually ever sincere about that, the killing thing. But yeah, that Garrick is shady here, and sorry, I'm giving away, but he went behind their backs and tried to negotiate turning them over for him going home, which Garrick's kind of one of the bad guys of this episode. I mean, Turan's worse, but Garrick's not a good guy until kind of that moment where he saves them, but even then he's just doing it for himself in a certain way. Or out of revenge for Turan. Turan, played by Edward Wiley, best known for Highlander, Chariots of Fire, The Hunger, and this. This is his only Trek credit. Sisko disagrees with the decision to do the prisoner exchange, but goes along with it. I think that might be new information for us of just how much Sisko is beholden to the Bajoran people. That it is a Bajoran station at the end of the day. The Bajoran government's allowed to overrule him. I'm not sure we've totally seen that. Yeah, because especially when you contrast that with when he's telling Garrick, like, hey, you tell like Central Command, they better not come to get students specifically. And then, he kind of has to walk that back, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, and then Garrick's smile when Sisko denies, like, when Sisko and Garrick are yeah. There's a tiny detail, but I love that O'Brien loaned Odo a mystery novel. I, the Jury by Mickey Spillane. Yeah. Yes. That was funny. Quark confesses his love to Odo, offers to tell all of Rom's crimes, not his own. Tell all of Rom's crimes. Yeah. He does. He throws shade on Rom earlier during Love Talk, and then here he just throws him under the bus completely. Well, and then he asks for a favor, then he begs, none of that works, and then agrees to do it for justice, and Quark's like, next thing, I was asked for justice next, but it's like, he knows Odo by now, why not go for the justice first? I mean, tunnel vision at this point. Tunnel vision at this point. Odo, though, I was actually disappointed, and I guess this is part of my alternate episode. I really want to do an alternate episode where Natima stays, or she comes back, or there's more evolution of that relationship. But since we're not going to get that, and I already know that, I do feel like Odo should suffer some fallout for letting the prisoners go, and he doesn't. And because he works for Bajor. He's a Bajoran military officer, not Starfleet. And he lets them go and thwarts the exchange. I mean, I'm surprised he gets to keep his job, quite honestly. Yeah, I guess, is there a cover story they come up with or what? I guess we don't know. No, I don't think we do know. Interesting. Odo does. And that makes those turns all the more surprising from he and Garrick. Well, Odo, I mean, Quark reveals to Odo, I did have the cloaking device. And Odo's like, I knew it, but he lets him keep it and he lets it get away because, again, for Odo, justice is more important than nabbing Quark on this charge. Yeah. So that's telling, but I think that was within character. So Garrick's waiting for them when they go to do the shuttle. I don't know if you noticed this, but Andrew Robinson, who plays Garrick, his hands weren't painted. So his face was all gray, but his hands were regular white human peach. I didn't notice. Yeah. I was a little disappointed by that. Oversight, I guess. Turan arrives. Garrick ends up vaporizing Turan and letting them go for the good of Cardassia. We get a lot of people here going for higher ideals. Odo operates for justice. Garrick operates for the love of Cardassia. Quark operates for love. But all three of these men put some other ideal above themselves. And that was interesting. I liked that aspect of this episode.
Yeah.
It's not profit and loss, but there's no profit.
About, Odo. Yeah, you're right.
It's all loss, no profit.
Unless the profit is staying true to their credo or whatever.
Quark does promise Garrick he'll get Ferengi business, and Garrick says, "Well, that was worth it," or whatever. Which I feel like Quark has a nicely tailored suit. I would have expected that Garrick made it for him, but I guess not. I thought it was odd that they worked on the station so long and Quark's never got into his establishment before.
Mm-hmm.
That they've avoided each other.
He must get the Partridge Family bus business suit done somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Natima does go with the students, but I don't think that was her betraying Quark. I don't think that was her not loving Quark. I think that was just what she had to do. And that's part of why I'm disappointed that, Quark says he's going to wait, even if he has to wait until Cardassia becomes a free and democratic state, which, telling you, it's not going to happen the next 5 years. We got lots of politics to get through, but free and democratic is not where they're heading anytime soon. But he even offers to go with her, and she doesn't let him. I do think it's because she loves him. I do think part of her love is knowing that he's okay on this station away from what she's going through. And this is her mission, not his.
So my alternate episodes were the previous adventures of Quark and the professor that they allude to, or the professor and students, what they're up to that got them in trouble, so much trouble. So those would be my two alternate episodes. Garrick calls Natima Quark's lady friend, which I feel like is a slight, just because I can't remember the comedian, but who said they always, whenever they referred to someone, their uncle, or I think it was their uncle, referred to someone as a lady friend, they meant that was a woman that they weren't dating, they were just sleeping with. My dad used the term the same way, so I saw that as some shade, but he tried to make it sound nice, which is what Garrick does. Oh, my only other thing was Turan being vaporized. I remember what I meant. I was getting into that, which is maybe that was part of the cover up. Was, well, if I just shoot him on a regular phaser, he gets killed and he dies and everyone sees him. But if I vaporize him, then he left. He was never here, kind of a thing. So, but it's that always shifting level of phaser setting or whatever. So
yeah,
and that's all I got.
Yeah, Garrick commits murder and gets away with it. That seems kind of odd too.
Straight up. Yeah, straight up murdered.
I guess the Cardassians and Quark aren't talking, but still.
Yeah.
Still felt odd. Who was your shady character in this episode?
Garrick. Yeah.
Yeah. It pretty much always has to be Garrick, even if you love him.
Yeah. Garrick. Still don't know
who's your choice.
Right. Hogue, the other student, I should say by the end he wasn't annoying me as much. So maybe it was Torin. You know what? I'll switch it to Torin.
Torin's mine. And who are you having a drink with?
Yeah, Evil's annoying. Evil can be it seemed like it had to be Heidi Swedberg, Recklin, but Quark, he needs a buddy, so I'm gonna get a drink with Quark.
Are you going with Quark? I'm going for Natima Lang. She seems like good people, and I liked her.
Quark, yeah.
Okay, you Quark. I've got Natima. Yep. We're ranking the episode. Let's go with the other Ferengi episode, Rules of Acquisition, better or worse? It's the woman Ferengi that pretended to be male.
When female Ferengi. Yeah. Ooh, gotta go with this one.
I do too.
But that one, I like too. Yeah.
Above that is Invasive Procedures, where Jonathan Glover stole the simian from Dax.
I think I like this one better too.
I'm with you. Above that is The Circle, which was the second of the 3 parts that started on the season. Part 2 of 3.
I could be persuaded in going with this one above it too.
But I think so. I think this goes above The Circle. Above The Circle is Shadow Play, the holographic village.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I see this one above that. I think I'd go above.
I know, we just keep going up. Cardassians. That's the one with the Cardassian kid that got adopted by the Bajorans.
Wow. I think I'd go above that one.
I think that's really close. But I think I agree with you. Above that is the alternate. That's where they found the other Odo-like being that created havoc or infected Odo or whatever.
Huh. Alternate. I'm not sure on that one.
So I feel like that's ranked too high in my opinion. So I would go above that one. But above that is the Siege, which was the third part of the three-parter, and I think I'd probably have to stop there.
Yeah. So we
above the
have
alternate, below the
the
Siege,
season opener and then the
season opener, Necessary Evil, third part, then this.
yeah.
Okay, so this is fourth for the season of 18. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and this is a good season. Like all those episodes we just passed were good episodes from where we started on up.
Well, and I know sometimes in peeling back that curtain, we watch a substandard episode of one of the shows, and then the other one looks so much better by comparison. But I think this episode, regardless, would stand out.
I think so too.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Going on, so much added.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Let's swing back to the Next Generation for the episode called Journey's End. Not to be confused with the television special they aired a few weeks later called Journey's End. That was a retrospective of the series. Don't know why they kept the same title. This Journey's End is after the Federation grants access by the Cardassians to a planet already inhabited by Americans. Picard has the daunting task of relocating them. I think this is the introduction of the Maquis, I would assume, but it is also the return of Wesley Crusher for his final Next Gen series appearance.
Hey.
We'll also get back the Traveler and Admiral Nechayev. So.
Oh, wow. And we get to rate how annoying Wesley was.
We do.
Last time.
For the last time. Well, he does make a very, very briff cameo in one of the films. It might be non-speaking.
Okay,
I think they cut this whole part from the film other than we see him. So, which they did not do him justice. He deserves some plot in one of those films, let me tell you. That annoying. The fact that they never did him, and they always said they would do a Q film, and they never did. But yeah, I feel like Q and Wesley got the shaft on the films. But anyway, until then, live long.
Yeah, and dangerously, and prosper.
It's All Been Done presents
Who's Got the Time?